Well, first, a couple conditions that I want to just share first. I actually broke my ankle pretty severely on Friday, and my husband and I were traveling actually for my our anniversary. So this is the first time I've actually been home. I got home like 2 hours ago, all weekend. So it was the first shower I took all weekend, and it took me a really long time. I didn't realize how hard it was to shower with a broken ankle. Anyway, so I'm here with wet hair because I definitely did not get a chance to what take care of like getting my hair fixed and be Barbie doll ready. But actually, that is so typical of my Young Living business and the perfect intro to a healthy hustle, because I am a mom of 8 children and I grew my business during the time that I had my 6th baby, and then I also had twins. And I will tell you that whenever you are growing a business and you have kids, something is going to have to give. And more often than not, for me, it was like I didn't always 100% of the time show up to every single live call or Zoom like Barbie doll ready. I just didn't. And I realized that that's like some people's brand. And I think my brand is probably developed since then. But I showed up to a lot of things where I was just like, I just got 6 of my older kids to bed, and my younger ones, like my husband is trying to get to bed now, and it was just real life. So that's what I really want to talk to you guys about tonight. And I'm also hitting the sunset here, so I'm going to try to kind of shift back out of this if I can. But I want to talk to you about real life. I am here in the Ozarks, and it is just a beautiful, like all natural place to live, to raise a family. We have a farm, a homestead. I have sheep and chickens, which you might be able to hear the chickens in the background. But I grew up not in poverty, but not even probably quite middle class. My dad was a teacher. Almost all of my dad was a teacher basically my whole childhood, except for when he was a logger. This is really stressful to me because I can't get up and move. I am stuck here because I can't get up because my foot is broken. Okay. Anyway, so just ignore the glaring sun, and maybe I can get my husband to come out and help me move my chair for a second. But my mom was a stay-at-home mom for a lot of my childhood, but we just didn't have a lot. We were very like down to earth, very real, very just raw kind of family that was a quintessential growing up in the 90s and early 2000s. And so whenever I was introduced to Young Living, it was a lifestyle that I had never heard of. I had my doctor on speed dial. Let me see if I can get my husband to come out here, because I literally can't even, you guys probably cannot even see me. It's like the sun is super bright and I can't move.
Oh, you want me to move you this way a little bit?
Nope, it's going to be in the sun more, but I'll just keep talking. It's okay. They said they don't care. So thank you anyway. My husband has been amazing, and truly through sickness and in health is like the mantra of our marriage, because we had this romantic weekend and he literally just served me hand and foot all weekend, which is amazing. Girls, if you're not married, find you a good one like that. But the start of my business, I was not looking for wealth. Like I wasn't motivated by the big numbers of Young Living, Royal Crown Diamonds. I mean, I was really impressed by them, but I wasn't motivated by them. And so, my talk tonight is called Healthy Hustle. And some of it is because I think that there's some things that we can take away from maybe my run to Royal that were healthy. And then some things that if I wish I could go back, I would do them differently. But I truly believe that life is not about making money. And I'm going to start my business, learn how to make money talk with that, because I don't feel good getting up here and saying like, oh my gosh, RCD income, you can do so much with it and all those things. And yes, you can, but let me tell you that it also can be a stumbling block. It can be something that keeps us from living where we are right now. And yet it is the biggest blessing ever that we make 7 figures a year. So there is a way to do this in a healthy way, to have a healthy mindset, to have a healthy family, to not put making money as the end all be all, but to truly have this kind of just a healthy view of life. let me tell you that here's what I would do if I could do it differently. I would go back and I would spend a lot more time with people who I would have developed a relationship with along the way. I loved helping people. I loved creating like protocols for them. And it was really like about, okay, I'm serving you through coming up with a protocol for you. And I'm serving you through doing a leadership class for you so you can learn how to make money. But I would love to go back and slow down. So learn from that as far as healthy relationships. I will say though that I absolutely have learned from that. And over the last couple of years, I have really started to linger, write the word linger and circle it. It is a very good way to have healthy hustle with people. So let me give you a background of my story. I wanted to start out with that because I think just taking the Young Living business in at a way that is truly healthy, if you are just focused on like tell me whatever I need to do to get to the top as fast as possible, my strong suggestion is that it's not probably going to be healthy. And so I think that there's a way that you can grow a business and thrive in the process, that you can thrive in relationship, you can thrive in your health. You guys, I didn't thrive in my health, but where I really thrived was I believed so strongly in the product. I believe so strongly in that this was truly something that was changing people's lives. And so I took a lot of time with people. Now, that didn't necessarily mean relationship building, which is what I would have done a little bit more of, but I took a lot of time walking people through the lifestyle, walking people through what exactly they needed to be doing, how they needed to believe or think through this whole lifestyle of changing chemicals in their home, changing products out in their home. And I really spent thousands and thousands of hours doing that. So in 2012, I was introduced to Young Living, and I was introduced really as just a product user. My husband was an engineer, and I had just started homeschooling my kids, and I was actually pregnant with my sixth child. I married my husband. He was a widower. He had 5 tiny kids, age 1, 3, 5, 7, and 9. So I was an instant mom at 23 on my wedding day of 5 little ones, and I legally adopted them the next year. So I'm a huge advocate of adoption and children who need a mom, need a dad, or need parents stepping in and fulfilling that role. Because again, I believe that life is about people. It's really about people. And so I was introduced to it about 2 years later. And I was really like, you guys, I had my doctor on speed dial. Like when I would get swollen tonsils or something, or swollen lymph nodes, I would just call him and be like, hey, can you run me a script? I'm in New York, I'm in wherever, I'm in Florida with my family. Can you just send me a script? I mean, I took antibiotics probably 2 to 3 times a year. I took Benadryl all the time. I had polycystic ovarian syndrome, endometriosis. I had 8 miscarriages, uterine fibroids. I was healthy in the world's eyes. I was a runner. I wore a size 2. I mean, I looked healthy on the outside, but I had all kinds of health issues. I literally lived on Benadryl anytime I was around animals or dust or pollen. I didn't realize how sick I was, because everyone in the Western culture thinks that you're not really sick unless you're like dying. If you're dying, then you're like really sick. And we just have a really flawed view of what truly living is. And so basically I started, using some of the oils a little bit here and there. I had a huge aha testimony with lemon oil and supporting my gallbladder to the point that I could keep it. Great support. And I loved that it was so simple, that I felt empowered with that information and with that knowledge, and with those tools at my fingertips. So I bought all of my family for Christmas that year. That was December of 2012. I bought all my family an essential oil for something. I got a big essential oils, like desk reference, looked up different things they were all dealing with, and I bought them all something in there for a Christmas gift that year. And within a month or 2, all of them called me individually telling me that what they were needing support for, they got from these oils. And I was like, man, this is amazing. So I just kept putting them to the test. I was doing all kinds of things. I was Basically like anytime we were dealing with something in the family with the kids, I was putting oils to the test to support that system, and it worked. It worked. Bodies were supported. Mama was supported. Everybody was like really thriving. And out of that, like true kind of getting back to like the way I was raised, where it was really just, we lived a very simple life, and it was really just about people and about family and about relationships. I started sharing the Young Living products with people in my life, including my family for Christmas, but even beyond that, with people who would just say, like, I have this need. And I was like, oh, well, I know of something that can work for you. I'm going to bring it over to you. And I got my first accidental paycheck in early 2013. Kind of just kept sharing a little bit along because I was nursing my firstborn sixth child. I was homeschooling. I was, helping out at church with the children's program. I was doing like a lot of things. So to me, a business wasn't something I was looking for, but I absolutely believed in these products. And everyone that I was enrolling, I was spending a lot of time walking them through all of our personal testimonies, walking them through this lifestyle, walking them through, exactly what I had learned, everything that I knew, I wanted them to know. Circle this. The best way to build a business is to get everyone that you know to love Young Living as much as you do. Period. If you do that, your business will absolutely thrive. You're not going to be going, oh man, no, none of my people are ordering. Nobody wants to share. Like, they will order and they will share if they love Young Living as much as you do. And so that is your goal, truly, if you just summarize it. And then how you do that can be phone calls, can be classes, can be meeting up with people, whatever. But if you get people to love Young Living as much as you love Young Living, your business will grow. And that's what I did, inadvertently grew a business by helping the people that I introduced to Young Living build I built a business by simply just sharing my love of the product, and I helped them build confidence in this lifestyle, not just in Young Living products, not just in like everybody needs to be diffusing, cinnamon and nutmeg right now instead of the Yankee candle that has cinnamon and nutmeg in it. Like, that's important. That is good. That is a piece of the puzzle. But if that's the only thing that a new member ever learns, they don't love Young Living as much as you do. They truly don't. And so your job is that every person that you share with, that you're introducing this lifestyle to, that it's truly a lifestyle, that it is, hey, you know what? This product is like a stepping stone. It is don't use this term, but it's a gateway drug into the whole lifestyle of truly being ingredient savvy, turning labels over. Like I tell people all the time, hey, get in the habit of turning over the product and don't just buy it based on what's on the front. Buy it based on what's on the back. In fact, the back of the label should be the only thing that really matters if you're going to buy a product. You get people to think differently, then you will have loyal product users for life. You guys, for a long time, I don't know, I haven't asked in a while, but for a long time, my Royal Crown Diamond team had the largest subscription percentage of any Royal Crown Diamond team in the company. And somebody in like the sales department told me that a couple of years ago. And then they told me again, like a year later, that we still had that. And I was like, that's amazing. That's so interesting. And I've told people that for this reason alone, because if your people truly see the need and understand the need for these products, that they understand the lifestyle behind this, they understand that the reason why hospitals are built and expanded in America right now over the last 20, 30, 50, 75 years, really since the 1930s and 40s, since the reason why that has happened is because it's a direct correlation to the food that we eat, the water that we drink, the products that we use, the lifestyle that we have. If you can help people to connect the dots, not only are you going to help paint the picture of the whole for exactly why Young Living is the nail, but you're going to have people who have seen something they can't unsee, and they've learned something they can't unlearn, and they've changed to something they'll never change back from. Listen, whenever people have changed to Thieves Cleaner, they just don't go back to 409 and Windex. They just don't. They realize, oh my word, like this is so much better than the 409 and the Windex. And it's not just better because it smells like clove. It's better because the other stuff is actually causing respiratory problems and cancer and disorders and dysfunctions. It's causing things like 1 in 6 women have miscarriages. 1 in 3 women have some kind of hormone-based cancer in their lifetime. My generation, that is the statistic that they are expecting for us. And so how do you do this? How do you connect with people? And this is what I was doing during that window of early 2013 until August 2013, when I decided to start the business. During that window, I was literally just living life. And when it came up, when it was an organic sharing, 2 ways to share, organically or intentionally. You should be doing both. But it was an organic sharing method. And it was literally as it came up. When people would say, I have XYZ issue, I would say, have you supported that? Have you tried natural remedies? Have you supported that naturally? And it wasn't just about Young Living products. It was about buy a Berkey water filter with a fluoride filter on it, because fluoride is going to ruin your thyroid, which is going to throw off your hormones. And if you're a Young Living business builder and you're still using fluoride based products, then you're probably having brain fog, and that's why you're not having breakthrough in your business. Okay, because fluoride causes brain fog. That's a really large leap, but you get my point. Okay, fluoride causes all kinds of things. And I want people to know that. I'm not here just to sell Young Living. I'm here to sell a lifestyle. And Young Living fits the lifestyle, because the message of Young Living is so bulletproof, because they have the best products in the actual world. They really have the best products. And I have tried a lot of products out there. I have tried all kinds of natural things. I use elderberry, I use colloidal silver, I use arnica, lots of arnica lately, for soft tissue damage. I use other natural products that Young Living doesn't have, okay, because I'm really into natural things. But when I go and I buy those, I'm like, man, this is probably providing some value, but like, it's not as clean as Young Living. It's not as effective as Young Living. And I usually end up just going back to take capsules of frankincense, because that seems like it does everything that all those other ones aren't doing. And ultimately, at the end of the day, you guys, we truly need to take this one person at a time, one lifestyle at a time, one home at a time, and really not so focus on how do I make large swaths of increase? How do I go out and get hundreds of people to enroll with my team this month? Because guys, the power of one is so important. It's critical. One person converting to love this lifestyle can generate a crown diamond in your team, a diamond in your team, right? I've got 5 diamonds and above in my team. Every single one of them, I have spent hundreds, if not thousands of hours convincing them to love Young Living as much as I do. And guess what? They do. You know, every one of them spends between $500 and $2,000 on their ER orders every single month, because they aren't just here for the paycheck. They're here for the lifestyle. And Young Living message is the best message when it comes to product usage in this lifetime. It is the best message around. It is so much better than listen, like, I know there's a lot of people that sell a lot of stuff, and sometimes people even jump ships and sell other things when they were selling one thing, right? None of that stuff holds a candle to Young Living products. It just doesn't. Like, it's hype. A lot of it is hype. Most storefront products are so mass produced that they cut corners on quality, okay? And so you just have to believe this. And first of all, I just want to say this. I say, first of all, 30 minutes into my talk. Okay. Also, you have to believe this. If you don't yet love Young Living truly, then how are you going to get other people to love Young Living as much as you do? Like, if you're not spending $200 to $300 a month budgeting for that on, or at least like trying something new every month and doing your darndest to always get as many freebies as possible and cutting corners and other things. Like if you are getting Starbucks, whatever the freaking heck pumpkin things they're called, I don't know, every week, and you're not spending that extra, like probably 12 or 30 or whatever dollars a month on getting a new blend that you've never tried, like what the heck are you actually doing? Okay. Are you growing a business? Are you using products that you can learn about, that you can love? This is not a company that's going to equip you with a starter kit of 752 products that they own because you couldn't afford it. Nobody would ever do the business because it would be thousands of dollars. They don't equip you with a starter kit of every single product so that you can learn about the products and say, okay, now go out and share about these. You have to make intentional steps to actually bring that stuff into your home, to be serious about switching and ditching. If you're still using toxic products in your home, then how are you going to convince other people not to? And this is not me coming from a place of condemnation, you guys. Whenever I first started Young Living, it wasn't even all non-toxic Young Living products. I was using apple cider vinegar as a conditioner for my hair because it was pennies on the dollar compared to Young Living's conditioner, and I couldn't afford it yet. I had a budget, but I also DIY'd my own face scrub with lemon essential oil. I used sugar, lemon oil, lemon juice, and olive oil. I blended it together and until it was a really beautiful scrub texture. I kept it in mason jars in all of the bathrooms of my house. And that's what we used for our face wash, for like our body wash. We did it like a couple of times a week. And the rest of the time we pretty much just used like water and hot water and a rag. And it wasn't just about converting to the Young Living products. It was about getting rid of toxins in my home. So if you're like, well, I can't quite yet, like, I'm not quite to the point that I can spend 200, I can spend maybe go from 100 to 125. Awesome. Do that, because you consider that an investment into your knowledge, into your skills of you should know what Young Living products smell like, what they feel like, what they taste like, what the experience is like. And by the way, you should be keeping a notebook of every time you use a product and write down your thoughts on it so that you can have actual talking points and thoughts and your own individual ideas and thoughts about your products that you're selling. Okay. Because at the end of the day, we're selling products. We're selling a lifestyle and we're selling the products that fulfill the lifestyle. We are in sales. We all like to call it sharing because it sounds a whole lot more sexy. But at the end of the day, guys, we sell products and you have to be able to sell them. And the way that you sell them is to know about them, to use them, and to love them. Okay, so going back, August 2013, I started building the business intentionally. I had shared with a lot of people. I had spent many hours talking on the phone with, I had maybe like, I don't know, 10 people in my team. A couple of them, my upline placed under me because I was her gold leg as she was growing to gold, which I was so honored. I was like, oh my gosh, I just want to hit 6,000 OGD so you can hit gold. Like I was so excited to help my upline rank up. And I just loved, I loved seeing other people succeed. And I'm, by the way, I'm a Royal Crown Diamond and have never once been bothered by the fact that my upline makes a ton of money off of me. I love that. And I think all of us should adopt that. All of us should say, I am so glad that my work blesses the people above me. You know why? Because all your downline's work blesses you too. And you always reap what you sow. You always reap what you sow. That's not the only reason why, but that is a big reason why. And so just keep a pure heart about the whole thing and hold everything loosely. So August 2013, I started building. And, you know, I took my kids to classes with me. I taught a lot of classes. I'm not one of those people that grew on social media. I didn't really have a good social media presence. I'm pretty sure when I hit Royal Crown Diamond, I had 300 followers on Instagram, and the world's changed a lot since then. And there's a ton of opportunity in social selling. It just wasn't what I did. I'm trying to do that a little bit more now. I think there's a lot of value there, but I still know people who are growing teaching classes. And so if social media isn't your jam, if you're like, you know, maybe you're not that great at opening up your heart and your life on a public platform like that, it is okay. It is totally fine. You do not have to be expert social media seller in order to be a successful business person. That's just it's not a requirement. And I just want to dispel that myth right now, because so many people are growing fast on social media. And I do think that it's a very amazing platform. And if you have the heart for that, and that's something that you feel led to do, please, like, by all means, grow it. I'm talking from experience of I've worked really, really hard to grow my social media platforms, but I also just don't want people to feel like they're getting left out, or that the opportunity isn't available to them if they are just going to meet up with people face to face. Because I grew my business record fast. Like, probably, I would say I'm probably in the like top 20% fastest, maybe less, of Royal Crown Diamonds that grew. I think the average is like 8 or 9 years, and we got to Royal Crown Diamond in 3.5 years. So I think that's probably among one of the faster, numbers. And it was all belly to belly. It was all face to face, person to person. So I started teaching classes, and the way that I taught, I know someone's going to ask me, is I had like 5 to 10 girls, I can't remember the exact number, in August of 2013 that I had spent a couple of months pouring my knowledge into. And so they were like just product users. None of us were building a business. But one of them said, I might be interested in the business. And I was like, I've been thinking about it too, because I've been making like, 80 or 90 bucks a month, kind of paying for some of my order. And I think that it's maybe something I would like to make a little bit more so I can spend more money on my Young Living products. And so we decided to just go to different people that we knew and ask them if they would be interested in learning about essential oils of everything that we knew. Would you be interested in learning everything that I know about essential oils and using them as natural remedies in your home? And so she just went to a few friends. I went to a few friends. And out of that, we just scheduled several classes for the month of August. And at those classes, I would get up and I would teach about my story of, I'd share my couple of my testimonies. I would walk them through what I had learned about our generation and how sick our generation is. And I talked about things that are uncomfortable truths. I talked about the fact that our generation is sicker than any generation prior to us, that there are so many major glaring problems with the fact that we have, kids who are allergic to peanuts, and nobody can take peanut butter to school anymore. And we have 1 in 6 women and are having miscarriages, and there's all these things. And it's really more like 1 in 4, but 1 in 6 is the conservative number. And you can literally just look up a few stats, and it's staggering. It's staggering. If you look up over the last 100 years, from 1921 to 2021, the number of ailments, sicknesses, disease, disorders, dysfunctions, it is just absolutely skyrocketed. And it's anybody who looks at that just can't argue with it. No one's going to be like, that's not true. That's where do you get that information? If people actually think about it for 2 seconds, they're going to be like, yeah, that's true. We actually do have a pretty sick culture. And most people are tending towards if I don't have to take medicine, I don't want to. If I don't have to use something chemical, I don't want to. It's enough of a message in our culture that people kind of get it. So I talked about my story. I talked about the generation story of all of our generations. And then I would talk about the Young Living story. And that is the fact that Young Living has been around since 1992 and then officially incorporated into the corporation it is today, 1994. And it's not a corporation, it's a business. But anyway, and Gary Young has been traveling the world since the 70s and the 80s, finding raw ingredients, especially essential oils, but raw ingredients even for supplements, and learned from the best, in France and in South America, and has really dug into the wellness industry and created products that are unlike any else, in that they have a higher absorption rate for all of their supplements. So if you're taking vitamin B or vitamin D, you're actually absorbing more into your body, and just little simple things like that. And I would just share who Young Living is. And I would share that they have their main product that has so much value that you can't find anywhere else is essential oils. And they have 200 essential oils. And here's the ways that you can use them. And I, in those in-person classes, dig into all the nitty gritty stuff that I don't post on social media. One benefit of in-person classes. Okay. So I dig in And I go through that. I explain things and they tell them they can find them in a desk reference, a pocket reference. I bring some of those books with me. I pass oils and products around. I share about the other product lines briefly. And then I talk about how they can become a member. And back then it was buy a starter kit, but now it's, you can buy any product on subscription, or we can come up with a little bundle for you that is about $100, and that will give you access to be a wholesale customer. I don't think we use the word wholesale anymore, but a customer that gets 24% off for the next 12 months. And that's it. It's that simple. And so that's kind of their story. So it's usually 4 stories. It's my story, Generation's story, the Young Living story, and their story. And so I was teaching those classes, and I would always allow time at the end to sit around and visit and ask people, like, so what did you think? You know, what do you need? Like, do you have any health issues? What do you want to address? What specifically are the health goals that you have that we can dig into? Guys, these are the literal questions that I was asking people. And out of every class, 5, 10, 12, sometimes at a big class, 50 people would enroll. And yes, we did teach some at a couple months into it that had 100 people there. We were having to move to churches and stuff to be able to fit everybody in. And so it was really neat because at each class, I would go around and I would just talk to people and I would say, would you want me to teach one of these at your house? And if anybody enrolls, you can enroll them and get your first few months of products paid for if you want to. And I would just make it super light. Like, there's no like major commitment. You know, I'm not like, do you want to start a Young Living business? Like, I didn't ever pitch the business. I just simply pitched them and hosting something and enrolling. And so that's what worked for me. It's a totally different strategy on social media. You know, you're going to be more or less sharing stories and things like that in your stories and on the timeline, maybe having a secondary page for oils and a primary page for product. And there's just a different strategy, but this is what I did. And you guys, I took my kids with me to probably 50 to 60% of the classes. My husband worked during the day. And so I would come home, he would come home and I would have dinner ready. And then I would be like, okay, either leave him, or if he came home and he had something else to do that evening, I'd be like, okay, let's eat dinner really fast. You know, at 5 o'clock, I have a 6:30 class. I would load up the kids with backpacks. Each one of them would have a backpack with like several projects and activities in it that they could do, snacks, the whole works. And I would take them and they would either like sit in the back of the room, or a couple of times they actually preferred to sit in the van because they could just like be loud and kind of hang out. We had a huge 12-passenger van, so it was fun for them. And it was really just simple. At every single event, we would invite people to come to the next thing or the next business thing. And then I had a Facebook group, and that's really what we did to grow all the way to Royal Crown Diamond. I grew by October 2014, we were diamonds. So it was 14 months after we decided to build a business that we hit diamond. And it was amazing because we hit with like $500,000 in OGV. And the way that we did it was get people enrolled, get those people on subscription orders every month, and then get some of those people to enroll others. And we normalized enrolling, we normalized sharing. We didn't make it out to be like you had to commit to this business. That's a huge faux pas that I see a lot of people, a huge mistake that a lot of people make, is that they expect people to like truly be 100% committed to like this massive business. And it feels big. And even with the upgrade to the brand partner, it just simply gives you the opportunity to make a paycheck. Like, we don't need to make that like, okay, do you want to be an official business builder, brand partner with Young Living? Sign your name on the dotted line, because then people are like, gosh, what am I committing to? This seems like a lot. So just keep it light. You know, I don't think that they have outlawed letting us pay for people to upgrade to a brand partner. I think that's still a thing. So if you want to just give people a little bit of, you know, cash or PayPal or something to upgrade to a brand partner. Hey, if you want to host a class, hey, if you want to start sharing socially on your social media, I just PayPal'd you enough. Go, here's the steps, 1, 2, 3. By the way, let me just say this. If you have no idea how to help someone upgrade to a brand partner, call your upline, call Young Living, ask the questions, get on, like, go to Google. What is the best app to make graphics or to make pictures with words on them. Literally is what I did when I had no idea. And then I would download the app and write out the steps from my hand and paper notes from the phone call with Young Living, write out the steps for how to upgrade. And then I would send it to someone. Here's step 1, here's step 2, here's step 3, here's my, give me your PayPal, I'll send you the info, this is what you do. And simply by doing this, you have the opportunity to make a little bit of money with Young Living. People just need to take ownership over their business and go, if there's not the resource, I'm going to create it. And if I don't know the information, I'm going to call and find it out. And so that's what I did so much of the time, because I didn't know. And so I knew that this was a question that people needed answered. And that was for understanding the comp plan and all kinds of things. So we did lots of classes. And I will say some things that I did that took a lot of time away from my health, my family, my friendships, that can save you time. That's my big thing. Is I really want to encourage people to grow in healthy ways. I don't want people to just spend all of their time like figuring out all the things and then feeling like, gosh, I spent time doing these 6 things that didn't grow my income at all. I really want to help people figure out how to just spend time doing what makes you money and not spending time doing the rest. And I think that's the best way to have a healthy hustle, is to be really efficient with our time. I didn't ask Amanda if I could share this, but I will go ahead and share. One of the, I think, best tools that I ever wrote, I write books for the Young Living community. It's Funnel Your Focus. If you haven't read that, I really recommend that you read it. It is called Funnel Your Focus. You can get it at growinghealthyhomes.com. The reason why I wrote that was because I was struggling with newborn twins on being really focused during my time to work. And it was making me have to spend like 3 and 4 times the amount of time, like pulling reports, looking up everybody. Who do I need to reach out to? Who's not on Essential Rewards yet? Who do I need to talk to about Essential Rewards? Who's been sharing, but they aren't really building yet? All those kinds of things. And it really helped me to make sense of classifying people based on where they are in their Young Living journey. And then next time that I opened up my notebook or opened up, I would just write it on notes for each person. I would know exactly where that person was. And so I really recommend getting tools that can, or even resources, doesn't even have to be mine, but people who've really built this business and can give you shortcuts is really one of like the best strategies for cutting time and being able to grow in a healthy way, where you're not having to solve every single problem yourself. I'm not talking about like knowledge of, like I said, call Young Living if you don't understand a comp plan and make a graphic. That's being resourceful for, like, I'm not expecting someone else to like make everything for me, do all the graphics for me, come up with all the tools for me. But at the same time, there are strategies. Okay. Strategy and tools are 2 very different things. Okay. Strategies are specific things that can help you spend less time in the weeds, more time actually focusing on making income and helping your team win. And so that's what Funnel Your Focus really is. After I hit Diamond, we actually had to shut down our Facebook group because of the first round of FDA compliance, which basically just means that the FDA stepped in and told Young Living in October of 2014, hey, your people cannot tell people that frankincense cures cancer and thieves is as good as the flu shot. You just can't say that. Actually, that was the graphic that made Young Living get a call from the FDA, was a flu shot graphic that said use Eves instead. I still have that graphic saved, by the way, because I'm like, oh, this was the graphic that that got Young Living in kind of trouble with the FDA, because Young Living Thieves isn't FDA approved for treating that specific thing. Don't get me on a rant about FDA approvals, because I could talk about this, and I have been sharing about this for a really, really long time. It's kind of funny that we're doing what we're doing right now. Oh yeah, I think it was Ebola. Oh, was it Ebola? I thought it was a flu shot. Anyway, give me just a minute, Peanut. 4 days. And but what's funny is that I was teaching about how corrupt the FDA and big pharma was like in 2013. And I've actually taught that at most of my classes. And lo and behold, here we are in 2021. So anyway, I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole, but the information exists way before the conspiracy theory like stuff happened in the last 18 months. The information, it does exist. There's many people in the pharmaceutical industry who are like, gosh, I own a pharmacy, but like, I'm so interested. The girl that I'm literally about to sign up this week, her family, her dad and her both run a family run pharmacy together. And she's like, oh, like I totally use natural products on my kids and myself. And I just find that hilarious. So anyway, the information's there. But really what was so good was, we were forced to close down our Facebook groups and really get back to like in-person classes and things. But during October 2014, I also found out I was having twins. And so my husband also, because I hit diamond that month, he quit his job and we moved. So we had a lot going on and I was really sick with pregnancy. Fast forward, my twins were born in May of 2015 and I had basically stepped back because I didn't really like have the energy at that point to keep growing in the same way that I had been growing. And I think that, the beautiful thing about this business is that I had my twins in May of 2015 and I decided to take a season off because I knew they were only babies once. I knew I probably wasn't going to have any more children because that was number 7 and 8 for us. And my husband was pretty much done. And so I really wanted to enjoy that time. Residual income, circle it, residual income. It's so worth the effort of those 1-hour phone calls, walking someone through this lifestyle. And the power of one person converting. And I mean, converting from a mainstream Western culture mindset to a more natural, holistic using something natural instead, using an oil instead type of mindset. And so I didn't really restart. I did start that year. I started Diamond Bound. Some of you may have heard of it. I know a lot of you have been to it. I'm seeing faces that have been to it. Some of you have spoken at it. Jill was just talking earlier. Jill has spoken at Diamond Bound before, Jill on call. But I started that year to really get my team together for a weekend and pour into them and do what I couldn't do like on a weekly basis with calls and things. And then we continued Diamond Bound in 2016. We had 125 and 15, 250 and 16. And then at the end of that event, I was really motivated, actually. I had several other diamonds come and speak. I was super motivated. And so at the end of November of 2016, I decided to grow my business back to Royal Crown Diamond. So we had hit Crown Diamond during my 2 years, but roughly off by just organic growth without tons of involvement from me. And then I decided I wanted to grow it big. So what we did during the next 4 months, December of 2016, and then January, February, March in 2017, was really get into the trenches with people. I did a lot of backfilling because I had taken 2 years off. I printed out my downline. I found all the people that had 0 PV. I started calling people. I started asking, questions about what products were their favorite, what were their health goals, how could I help them come up with a protocol? Would they be interested in a 90-day protocol with me? And really customize plans for people. People love that, by the way. White glove customer service, it goes a long way. And I really just dug in with my builders and started asking people to, go out and teach classes again. I walked back through, how do you teach a class? I walked back through what the income producing activities are, IPAs, which is get people enrolled, get them on essential rewards, subscribe and save, and get them sharing. And so we did a few big events, but mostly it was lots and lots of classes. It was lots and lots of calls. It was lots and lots of messaging. You guys, you do not realize that you don't have to have your entire team show up to an event to have an event or to have a class or to have a small gathering that makes a really big impact. And so anyway, we were just hands out doing tons of things. I did really intensive videos on my Facebook group. They were about 3 to 5 minutes, but I would walk through 1 or 2 products in like complete detail. These are all the ways you can use it. These are all the things that you can use it for. And we really, sorry guys, I live by a train. We really focused heavily on product education. And then in the month of March, we focused on, getting new people enrolled, and we had huge enrollment challenges, but it worked because there were so many people who had fallen in love with the products, people who weren't even on Essential Rewards when we started that 90-day run, had joined Essential Rewards, and by March we're enrolling people. And so it really is about you digging in with people, helping them fall in love with the products. And remember, the best business builders are the people who love the products the most. So again, going back to the very foundational thing that I said, the way to grow a business is that you have to help people love Young Living as much as you do. They will get on I keep saying Essential Rewards. They will get on Subscribe and Save, and they will want to share with people just naturally. Oh, thank you, husband. Yeah. Look at my husband solving my problem of light. Okay, so we hit World Crown Diamond. We expanded Diamond Bound that year in 2017 out to all of Young Living. We have continued to do that. Last year we had over 8,000 viewers of the Diamond Bound event, which is amazing. And it is a huge business event. I would love for you to come this year. It is in Branson, Missouri, which is my neck of the woods. And it's November 5th to the 7th. You can get tickets at diamondboundevent.com. It's a weekend of just amazing business content, business training. We do some workshops. We dig in to heart and mindset stuff and skills, and it's so good. Friday night we do a formal, so you get to dress up, and we have it all decorated. We have live entertainment that goes along with the theme for the weekend. It's just amazing. Follow us on Instagram, follow us on Facebook, go to the website, get a ticket, bring your friends, do the thing. It's going to be great. Beyond that, I have a bunch of books. If you've never heard of IPAs, which you probably have if you're building this business, but if you haven't, get my book, Do the Hard Work, HARDWORK, walks through those 3 IPAs of getting people enrolled, getting them on Essential Rewards, and getting them sharing with others. Just create those resources for my team and then make them available to Team Young Living. That is kind of the heart behind what we do. And the other one that you probably need to start using, if you're not already using something to gift to new members, get the welcome book, you guys. That I wrote I'm pretty sure it was like the original new member book. I don't know. I didn't remember any other ones before, but I wrote it in the spring of 2014. We've sold over 1 million copies of the welcome book. That is like a quarter of the company has a welcome book. So that's amazing. Grab some of those for your new members. And they're really, really, really good. And get one for yourself or for someone that isn't ordering. Okay, guys, we have like 10 minutes. I am going to open it up. I'm scared. I'm going to open it up for questions. Everything is out at growinghealthyhomes.com. Someone said we need more hotel rooms open for Diamond Bound. We have a limited block. So if they aren't open, you might call just to make sure. Because sometimes if you put a different date in, they show up as not available when they really are. But call them. And then also there's like so many hotels in Branson and get an Airbnb. Someone said anything to reduce IPA. I don't know what that means. Okay, what are the 4 things for sharing? Diane, it's the 4, I kind of call it the 4 stories, which I talk about and do the hard work. It's your story, which is really testimonies and things, why you love this so much. Our generation story, which is like people are sick, statistics, like we need to get rid of chemicals in our culture, that kind of stuff. The third one was Young Living story. So anything you want to talk about related to Young Living, the history of the company, the products, whatever part that if you're talking about beauty products at night, you can talk a little bit about Young Living overall and then beauty stuff. If you're talking about, healing oils of the Bible, you can talk a bit about Young Living in general, and then bring in that subject, whatever it is. And then the 4th part is their story. So it's literally how they get started. They get started by becoming a customer, by becoming a brand partner, whatever that looks like for them. It's literally how they can weave Young Living into their life at that point. So yes, anyone can go to Diamond Bounds. Awesome.
Jordan, is your welcome book revised?
Yes, we just relaunched it this summer. It's not starter kit specific. It's not really anything specific. It really just digs into tons of protocols, recipes, specific ways to use products, talks about kind of a high level overview of all the different product lines, some of our favorites. It's all original photography here taken at my house or my farm. And it's really beautiful. It's 100 pages and it's like coffee table worthy. So I think people will like it. Okay. Any suggestions to motivate people to join Zoom and Facebook classes? So many are off of Facebook. One thing that actually is kind of old school, but I built my business on freeconferencecall.com. You guys, I enrolled so many people through doing calls on freeconferencecall.com because it's a calling class. And I think that as weird as it is, it's kind of different and fresh. I think people got like really burnt out on Zoom in 2020. And so I really love freeconferencecall.com. I started teaching classes on Free Conference Call in 2013. Like December 2013, I taught my first class on there. I have an archive of literally hundreds and hundreds of calls on there, even way back non-compliant calls. And so it's a really, really, really good program. You can give someone the number and then the PIN number, and they can literally call in and put themselves on mute. You can mute everybody just like on a Zoom. But I feel like that feels like really non-invasive for people, but you do need to keep those to like 30 minutes because people just don't have the attention span to listen usually if it's longer than that. Those are really, really good. And then another one is really doing micro work. I don't know if you've heard me teach on that topic before, but I really think that this is a really important thing, is really digging in with your people, your zero PVs and your leaders, and really working with each one of them one-on-one, micro working with them to get buy-in so that they then go out and invite people, and then you going out and inviting people one-on-one, and really not just focusing on, again, that mass, like bringing in swaths of people like, oh, I've got to get 100 new people on. No, you don't. I enrolled Bethany Shipley after a freeconferencecall.com class. One person, focused on one, dug in with her, all of the things. And that's the power of one. Sometimes they just are a product user, and sometimes they end up building a business to diamond and beyond. Okay, someone said, in this weird season of our lives, what have you found most successful for teaching classes? Many people don't want to gather but are Zoomed out. It's so tough to get them to meet up. Any suggestions? Honestly, people go to where the energy is. So if you show up, if you promote really well with energy and then you show up with energy, you're going to get people to show up. And so, you know what? Remake yourself if you're not energetic. Like, truly, if you're like, oh, I'm not that way. Yes, you can be literally anything that you want to be. You can be whatever personality, whatever style, whatever delivery message, doesn't matter. Like any way that you want to show up to people, you can. And so up your energy. People don't want to listen to someone that's boring. And I don't mean that in a derogatory way. It's just true. And so how do you do that? Like, you've just got to dig in with yourself, do some heart work, and go, all right, I'm pumping myself up. I'm going out, and I believe that Young Living is the absolute best product. Drink 3 nitros. It'll work. Trust me. Young Living is the best products out there. And I want all these people who are getting ready to be on the Zoom call with me, to be on this call with me. I want them all to know this. So I'm going to like hype myself up. You know why people have cheerleaders at sporting events? Because the sporting events need energy. Where do they get the energy? The cheerleaders are like, hey, what do you say? Everybody stand up and make a fool out of yourself. Woo! And they do it because they have a cheerleader. So be your own cheerleader. Hype yourself up and get excited, because the product message is out there. And if you know about them, then it's all about delivering with enthusiasm, because enthusiasm is contagious. Energy is contagious. Excitement is contagious. You want people to get excited about it, you be excited about it. And that's truly the best thing for getting people to show up to stuff, because you can't overpromise and underdeliver, or people will never show up again. And the way that you can overdeliver is to deliver the message with zeal and gusto and enthusiasm and excitement and clarity and brevity. Clarity and brevity. Okay. All right. I just have a couple minutes left. Someone said my in-person classes have been on and popping. Sarah, you are right, girlfriend. She's in my team, and her team has so many new like stars and senior stars, and they are doing tons of in-person classes right now. She's going to hit silver in a heartbeat. So proud of you, friend. Run around the house if you need to get energy. Yes. Wondering if Diamond Bound can be watched online. We are trying to work to that end. I've told that to like 500 people. We are trying to get it online. We are kind of right now at the threshold where we're waiting to see like what our in-person numbers are going to be, what we can budget for a live stream event, what we think the demand is. There's really a lot of hoops to jump through with that, but it is my intention and my heart and my goal to make that available as an online event as well. The tickets are usually in the same ballpark, probably around $199, and usually it's like a 30-day replay. And then if people who come in person or people who buy a live ticket option want to buy like a lifetime access, that would be separate, purchase, basically a downloadable purchase other than the live stream. So that would be two different purchases, which you can do after the fact as well, even if you don't have a live ticket. Okay. Let's see. So many good things. Nitro yourself and do it. Be your own cheerleader. I find someone on Facebook who I know is energetic and I watch it live with them before I go live or teach a class. Helps so much. Totally helps, because why? Enthusiasm is contagious. So you got it. That Wonder Woman twirl is amazing. Yes. Okay. What products can I use for elevated libido? I would just talk to the person that enrolled you, because I'm not going to answer that question publicly, but it's a good question. And there are things that you can do to support all your body systems. What are you using to manage pain with broken ankle? So I am using a lot of Young Living products. One is I'm taking capsules of copaiba, frankincense, and any tree oil I can find, pine, fir, spruce, a full capsule of each. But if you're just getting started taking oils internally, do 2 to 3 drops every 2 to 3 hours. That would be enough for a couple of weeks, and then you can increase from there. I'm also rubbing lots of CBD muscle rub on it, and dropping on frankincense and panaway, rubbing on deep relief, and what else? I'm using arnica. I use the little tablets that I put under my tongue, and I feel like that's the main. I use Valor on it, but it's already healing so fast. Okay, guys, I think that's all the questions. Does anyone else want to pop on and ask any other live questions? Agiles, BLM. Oh yeah, well, I take like maybe 25 supplements every single day. So I always forget to tell people that, but that goes without saying for me. I take Agiles, I take BLM, I take Essential Zyme, Sulfurzyme, Detoxzyme. I take Super B, Super C, Super D, Ningser Red, Nitro, MindWise. I take Life 9, multigreens. What else? Omega Dyes. I take Power Dyes. Gosh, there's others. Super Cal, Mega Cal. I take like several of the powders. So I take the I can't remember the name of it. The one that makes your pH come down. What's it called? Or go up? Come down. I don't know. Alkaline.
Alkaline.
Everyone's saying it. Thank you. I take alkaline. Yeah. So I do all of that stuff, which obviously is going to allow your body to function at full capacity and heal significantly faster. So yeah.
Thank you, Jordan.
You are so welcome. And you guys, I hope that I know this chat was like kind of all over the place, but I feel like I could go down any one of those like training rabbit trails and stay there for a really long time. But I wanted to try to get through our journey and hopefully give you some good food for thought along the way.